Okay, we're live. I want to thank everyone for coming to the November 13th recessed meeting from our November 6th regular meeting. And tonight we've got several things on the agenda, but it should be pretty straightforward. And so if I could get a motion to approve the agenda or any items that may need to be adjusted on it.
Motion.
Got a motion to approve the agenda. Can I get a second? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Okay, tonight, here it is. Our primary item is a quasi judicial hearing for a Class B special use permit, which is SUP 25-0008, Igor Patina Salvage Yard. And so I'm going to turn it over to Valerie
Yep.
to
Valerie's
give
actually
the
gonna-
planning department summary, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you all for being here tonight for this recessed hearing. Much appreciated. So just a quick summary of this request. As was just said, this is special use permit 25-0008, and it is a request for a Class B special use permit for a salvage yard facility, meaning that this will not go in front of the Board of Commissioners. So the Planning Board has final say. This is located at pin 641500 649350. The zoning for this parcel is light industrial. The assessed acreage is 5.57 acres. And as I just said, Class B special use permit. So some more information about the property. So this parcel is located at 12322 US Highway 74 West, Peachland, North Carolina. The location more specifically could be described as the 5.57 acre parcel as identified as the pin below. The town is directly adjacent to the town of Peachland's westernmost border. It does share a border. The project site is fully located within the developmental jurisdiction of Anson County, and no part of it is part of Peachland or the ETJ. And here is just an aerial overview of the parcel. As you can see, it is directly sharing that border with Peachland and has some natural screening already from US 74. And here are just some pictures of the highway looking west and east. And here we have some direct shots at what you look directly onto for the parcel. So looking straight onto it, as you can see, there's already a lot of natural screening. And then if you go up the road just a little bit, you can look onto the driveway to the property and you can see that one pre-existing building.
Is that the building that burned
Yes.
a few months back?
Yes. So the existing land use and development status. So as I said, the parcel is zoned as light industrial and currently has one building. That aforementioned building has since experienced a fire. That one building is proposed to be repaired by the applicant. This region is predominantly surrounded by parcels also zoned as light industrial and also residential as the municipal area of Peachland is approached. Salvage yards are allowed upon meeting of the standards listed in the ordinance, and the Class B SUP is approved by you, the planning board. So some environmental features, based on the FEMA hazard layer, this land contains portions in a 500 and 100-year flood zone, as well as having a floodway, which is pretty much an area that is flooded, quote unquote, all year round, a creek, a river, etc. So yeah. And then continuing with the environmental features, pretty much just that creek that runs by there, Lanes Creek. So the same issue that we had with the previous hearing with the National Wetlands website being down, it has been down since I submitted this. So if there are any other environmental features, which I do not think that there are, they are not captured in this image. So transportation, US Highway 74 West is a single direction road with a speed limit of 55 miles per hour in the vicinity of the site. The road is route class 2 US route, is function class per principal arterial other, and additionally the road is state maintained. As of 2023, it had an annual average daily traffic of 19,000 cars and it has a 100-foot right-of-way. And then, of course, in the context of the DOT, the route class is a classification of a road based on its role in the transportation network, while the function is referring to the group of roads based on the type of service they provide. So, the salvage yard and the requirements. The minimum lot size, according to the ordinance, would be 2 acres. The proposed 5.57 total affected acreage would satisfy this requirement. Additionally, a site plan was provided and does meet the requirements listed in the ordinance. And they were also required to list the number and type of equipment on site. 1 forklift was listed on the application. And then continuing on, they had to provide details on the screening that they would be using. The requirement states 6-foot high chain link fence around the full property boundary and I can't read, vegetation natural buffering. So they meet the 6-foot requirement with the fence, and they also are planning on using additional vegetation. Details of the screening: front portion facing 74 will have a privacy screen. They also meet that requirement of screening in their application. So parking requirements, employee parking, and loading and unloading areas, they also meet that part of the ordinance. No additional conditions were requested by the applicant, and us as the planning department also recommend no additional conditions. So based on the application, its totality, detail, regulatory compliance, et cetera, the planning department does recommend that Mr. Igor Putina's application for SUP 25-0008 for a salvage yard be approved. And now I'd like to open it up to comments.
I have a brief question. Looking at that perimeter fence, you know, with the boundary of some of this being a creek and having some steep slopes down to that, and I know there is an existing fence on part of the property, is that something we can designate to not have to include that that slope going down to the creek, right? So we're talking about the usable acreage instead of this saying 6-foot high chain link fence around the full property boundary, right? That's might not be logistically feasible in this case.
Can I invite you in?
So if you flip to page 17 of your packet, you will see the applicant's proposal where it includes where they're proposing fence along with vegetative buffering, so that may address some of your question. But no, let me double
They
check
can't
the
fence
ordinance.
the creek, but
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to take the fence to the property line.
Okay.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I was just
Okay,
making
yeah.
sure
They don't have to
we
take it to the property line,
okay.
but there does have to be a fencing component.
And so we don't need to make that as a, you know, special exemption in this or anything. Okay.
Not to steal your thunder.
no, you're fine.
Um,
Yeah,
Well,
any other
that's-
questions from the board?
Is there any special requirements or statutes or anything about the fluids? How do you handle the fluids, the acids and antifreezes and all of that. What do you,
So they would have to meet whatever requirements are imposed by statutory proceedings, along with other departments that may come into play. So this will send it over to building inspections when they go to remodel or build any structures. It'll trigger a fire permit review by the fire marshal, but in terms of what you're talking about, you know, in terms of leakage, it would ultimately fall to DEQ. So if there were any violations, the county would inform DEQ, who would then handle that based on their administrative code or statutory.
and they would be responsible for the cost of any
Yes.
issues
Yes.
that
Yes.
arose with that?
That is correct.
And can we put any provision in the, like a special condition in this, right? If we wanted to say that that all needs to be located on the opposite side of the property from the creek, things like that, that would limit that? Is that something we can do, or? I know you didn't recommend any of that, but I'm just curious.
So put in a condition that they only store potentially, what I'm gonna say loosely is toxic materials
Yeah.
on the
East
eastern
side.
side of the property.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be batteries and radiators, things like that stored on the west side of the property where a lot more of a chance for runoff into the creek.
Potentially, if there's enough evidence that it would be a safety or health concern. Potentially. We can only tie special use conditions to matters that pertain to meeting the standards of the ordinance. Within the ordinance, there is no condition for a salvage yard pertaining to health and safety. However, one of the required findings of fact does pertain to health and safety. And the applicant may address some of this in their presentation before we.
Yeah, I figured that might be the case, and they might not even be doing anything with batteries, so.
Any other questions from the board?
What happens if, if they go out of business, do they have to clean everything back like it was when they started?
So that also is not a condition in the ordinance that was listed. I guess that's another thing that pertains to the findings of fact. So, but
Like,
there,
it'd be a
it doesn't,
big deal if,
Yeah.
whenever they just left and left all that there, that would be a big,
yeah, so that issue isn't addressed in the ordinance, but like Nick said, they might address it in their own discussions.
There is no bond or reclamation requirement or anything for that. There's only a few things in our whole ordinance that does require reclamation. This is not one of them.
Any other questions? Okay, so I would like to invite the applicant to come and present any material that they might have.
And then,
We'll have to
Oh,
swear
and
them
we have to
in.
swear him in.
or
Sorry.
you can approach, before you begin your presentation, we just need to swear you in. So would you both raise your right hand? Do you affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on the matters discussed tonight?
yes.
Okay. When you begin, please just state your name and your address for the record, and otherwise you can proceed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I feel a little bit nervous, so sorry about that. My name is Igor Putina. My address is 6915 Pinewood Forest Drive. It's in Monroe, North Carolina, 28110. For now, I would like to introduce Rami as my partner. He will make a small introduction, and any questions you may have, I'll be glad to answer them.
Good evening. My name is Rami, and I'm at 1218 Canongate Drive, Indian Trail, North Carolina, 28079. Well, she literally went over everything for us. I have it kind of all written down, but I can also go ahead and state, and speak on what we were going to do. So, good evening. My name is Rami. I'm here this evening to request approval for a special use permit to operate an automotive salvage yard focused on safe dismantling and resale of used auto parts. The property has previously operated as a salvage yard, and our proposal continues that established use while upgrading the site to meet modern safety, environmental, and appearance standards. Our goal is to operate a clean, organized, and compliant facility that supports local jobs and provides affordable auto parts to the community. The total property, approximately 5.5 acres, zoned LI, includes a 6,000 square foot warehouse, office for administration, storage, and customer service. The entire site will be surfaced with gravel, providing dust control and stability. Access from 74 West with about 10 employee parking spaces and shared customer parking in the front of the building, plus a dedicated loading and unloading area behind the building. A forklift will be on site to safely move vehicles on and off and around the yard, preventing dragging and minimizing surface damage or fluid leaks. There will be a qualified forklift provider on site during operating hours. All fluids and materials will be properly drained and stored in categorized waste containers to ensure safe handling and disposal. The facility will be equipped with spill kits and fire extinguishers for emergency response. The property will operate Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and will remain secured and locked after hours. The property is surrounded by existing natural vegetation, which will be preserved and enhanced as a visual buffer. A 6-foot chain link fence will enclose the entire 5.5 acre site for safety and security. Along the front property line facing Highway 74, the fence will be fitted with privacy screening and material to reduce visibility and improve aesthetics. Additional landscaping will beautify the frontage and reinforce a professional and well-kept appearance. Our expected staff is 5 to 10 employees, focused on local hiring to contribute to Anson County's workforce. Customers will request parts and employees will retrieve them. No public access inside the yard area. Loading and unloading of vehicles will take place behind the warehouse to minimize visibility and traffic conflicts. The business supports recycling and reuse, aligning with responsible environmental and economic development practices. The proposed use meets all Anson County zoning, screening, and safety standards for salvage yards. The property's previous use as a salvage yard demonstrates its compatibility with surrounding uses. The proposal aligns with Anson County's comprehensive land use plan, which supports light industrial growth along Highway 74. We're proud to reinvest in this property and bring it back to productive and responsible use, improving its safety, appearance, and environmental performance. Our intent is to operate as a good neighbor, safe employer, and long-term community partner. Thank you for your time and consideration. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, do you guys have any questions?
My one question was, if you go out of business, what happens to everything there? Are you gonna clean it up if?
Yes, so we're looking to purchase the property, so we will be the landowners as well. And if we did go out of business, then we'll still be responsible, obviously, for, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Will you all be recycling batteries and other potentially toxic items like that?
Yes, well, I'll give you a small passive of myself. I've been working at Salvage Yard for 15 years. Now I'm working for the last 9 years as a general manager, and I decided to go up and open my salvage yard. And yes, 15 years in the salvage yard, 9 years as a manager. I know how to deal with all the stuff, all the cars, all the fluids, everything else. All the batteries will be on a pallet, battery on battery, everything on a cardboard, everything will be packed on the side. We don't keep the batteries no more for a long time. We find the recycle, because there are many recyclers. I know in Charlotte, we can find out about in Anson County if anyone interested. I'm pretty sure we will find a recycler who can buy the batteries from us. Same thing about fluids. We have all the fluids, transmission fluid, engine oil, antifreeze, everything will be stored in designated containers. Same thing as the gas. We have a special, I'm speaking about now what we have. We have a big container for gas. So everything goes in the containers, designated containers. So just in case of the fire, everything will be separate, so nothing is going to attach to that fluids or the fire.
Any other questions from the board? All right, then we will open up for comments from those with standing. I believe we have a adjoining landowner here this evening. Do you wish to speak? Well, come up. We'll have to swear you in, and then you'll state your name and your address. Please speak into the microphone.
I don't do that.
Do you affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on the matters discussed tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Just state your name and address for the record and proceed with any presentation.
So my name is Jamie Caudle, or James Caudle. My address is 77 Baxter Street, Peachland, North Carolina, 28133. My adjoining property is on Caudle Road, which adjoins this property across the creek. I just have a couple questions. I'm sorry I was late. It's been a crazy day. But first, the buffer. I don't know what the requirement is for the buffer. My main concern is if this property is going to be one of the first things you see when you enter Anson County, we don't want to see a scrapyard or junkyard. We don't want to see scrap thrown everywhere. So we would like for it to be kept clean. And I'm speaking on behalf of the citizens of Peachland. We would like for it to be kept up. Second, the existing building that's there, that's falling in, is it going to be demolished? Is it going to be the first piece of scrap that they demolish? Because it's not buildable. You can't build with it. It should have been condemned. After a fire that they've had 3 years ago, not this group, the prior owner. I want to make sure that that's going to be cleaned up. And then there is an issue with the tenant who is living there, not affiliated with this group. I want to make sure that they are handled appropriately because we've had issues as the fire chief of the fire department. We've had issues with that individual, illegal burns through the county, raw sewage being dumped out on the property. So I want to make sure that that's cleaned up. There again, it's not these individuals who have done that or allowed it. I just want to make sure that's addressed. So other than that, that's all my concerns.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, if y'all saw with the Duke Energy and some of these other quasi-judicial things, what we always do is try to get all the questions from the public that have standing and then pose them to you so you have opportunity to answer each one. So the first question was on the buffer and in regards to kind of that area being the gateway into Anson County. So if you would maybe elaborate a little bit on some of your buffer plans. I know you had said existing vegetation and adding some more. And if you don't mind just elaborating a little bit.
Yes. So I'm very, me personally, I'm a very well-kept, tight. I like my stuff nice, tight, clean, So that's definitely going into this. That's how we would want to do it. Especially with the first thing first is we'll get a newer fence up there and then put privacy screening on that fence that's facing 74 to make sure that that's done. And the vegetation will be upkept. That's just for safety. But we will still have it look upkept, and especially at the front and the gates, we might do some landscaping there just to make it look, look not so much as a scrapyard or something like that. That's the plan with that.
Sure. Thank you.
That's no problem.
And then the second question was in reference to the existing building that had burned a few years back. So what are the plans for that existing building? Are y'all planning on trying to bring it into code, or you going to remove that building? What are the plans for that structure?
So first things first, we'd like to get a general contractor out there. I did hear from the current landowner and from Jamie, because he's been there more than I've even been there, that it might need to be, completely demolished and rebuilt. So the plan is to get a general contractor out there, see what we need to do, and proceed from there. Yeah, I don't have the exact because we don't really know.
Sure, not to that point
this
yet.
moment, yeah.
And then the third question on the existing tenant issue. I know y'all don't own the property as far as what went on with that. What are your plans in regards to that person that's living there now and some of the issues they've run into?
I mean, he's gonna have to go. There's not gonna be any other way around that. I don't know if we might need, however it might go, we might need local law enforcement to help us out with that, but, I mean, we're not gonna stand for that,
Sure. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Jamie, the only person was standing here tonight that's not the applicant. Any follow-ups? Okay. Okay.
And I'll say that the whole screening aspect is built into the ordinance, and it explicitly states they have to maintain it, whether it's through fence or vegetation. It does give them that option. They're actually going to do both,
Yeah.
fencing and vegetation.
And with it elevated up a bit from the road anyway, that's gonna help a lot, and, so.
Marty?
Say for instance, your yard starts getting full, will y'all be stacking vehicles on top of each other? Cause, you know, where will that come in at with the fencing and, buffer?
They have to provide adequate screening. You know, the way the ordinance is structured, if they're gonna go fencing route, it has to be a minimum of 6 feet tall. And it has to, touch the ground essentially. I guess if they start to stack vehicles and it becomes a visibility issue, we can always refer back to the ordinance. It does require that it be screened. That's the standards that they are submitting themselves to. So if it becomes a tremendous eyesore, they would be in violation of the special use permit.
Can I say something? What we do now, I've been working with the Monroe, get the name of it, scrapyard. What they do, they come to us, they bring a four-wheeler, a big semi-truck, we load everything in the semi-truck, and they take all the vehicles that were scrapped, they take to the scrapyard. And they make like 15, 20 times, in a week. They just take whatever we have. We don't stack everything in like a big pile. Whatever they have, we just take them away and we keep it clean.
So that's your plan, to do that weekly?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from the board?
I have one question. This isn't just my own, question. Where do you get the cars from? Where do they come from?
We buy from the auction. We have 3 auto auctions.
Okay. Just curious.
And plus we have people that brings vehicle in. Of course, we take all the time, we take the titles, we run the VIN number. It happened, I'll be honest, it happened like somebody steal the vehicle, they brought it in, and they don't have the title, or they don't have the registration. That's my vehicle, it's my own vehicle. What I do, I have a system that I can run the VIN number, and I can clearly see if the vehicle's been theft. I can call the police, they come over, it happened twice. I called the police, they came over, get them apprehended, and we should go. That's it. I always run the VIN number, make sure there is no theft vehicles in my yard. As I like to be, we have a lot of police coming to our yard, they can check all the VIN numbers, all the cars. I never had a problem with the police that want a car from the theft. So that's how we do.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Well, let's go through the findings of fact. On the first one with public health, safety, and general welfare, it sounds like they're gonna be following all the regulations and things. They're taking some precautions to help prevent serious fire risk by having things in their own separate containers as far as fluids go and things of that nature. So unless somebody can come up with a safety issue, it sounds like they've got that squared away.
I will just say, I had to pull the statute number. There is a statute, General Statute 136, Article 12. It's within DOT's statutes. DOT also has screening requirements for scrap yards as well that would come into play. So just I meant to mention that earlier. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
I just it's something DOT also looks at. So there is certain DOT regulations that would kick in.
Okay. It is in a district which complies with the regulations and standards of the ordinance. There does not seem to be a issue with surrounding property values. I mean, in the state of the property as it is now, this will only be an improvement. So that's okay there. And it does fall in with the county regulations and all as stated by our planning staff. So they appear to have met all 4 criteria of this, and as such, I'll make a motion to approve their request for Class B special use permit. And if I could get a second, then we'll have any discussion.
I second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? There being none, we'll put it to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? There are no opposed, so it passes unanimously. And appreciate y'all investing in our county and wish you great success with your new endeavor. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And Nick, we've got a little bit of paperwork that we'll handle, and then you'll be able to issue their permit?
Yep, so the next step is we'll draft what's called the findings of fact and conclusions. It'll basically summarize all the findings presented tonight and officially issue the permit. So we'll have that to you in the next week or so, but otherwise you're good. It's just a formality of paperwork, but you're all set.
And we would probably need to take that to DOT, right?
Yes.
When we start.
Yep, yeah, because you'll have to use it. You'll probably want to refer to it when you pull the DOT permit for the junkyard. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, best wishes. Okay, that handles the quasi judicial portion of this, so we will close the quasi judicial hearings, which also concludes the hearing we had from our regularly scheduled meeting. So next we go into public comments, if we've got any. Doesn't look like we do. Lynn, anything you want to add? You're our member of the public tonight.
She told me this was gonna be her maiden voyage, so to speak, and I think she did,
My debut.
you did good.
Thank
It was your debut,
Thank you so
yeah, so, we could keep you around for a while.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Oh, yeah,
I'm around.
but that's great, and I love watching the board meeting, because I got my start 100 years ago, plus or minus. But yeah, it was great, and what you can let the guy know that, once he owns the property under real estate laws, they can provide, they need to provide an eviction notice, only after they own control and own the property, not beforehand. But once he does that, then, and give them 30 days to remove themselves. If they don't do it, then he can probably call on law enforcement.
Okay.
Yep.
It's
Good
not
to
an
know.
easy process.
Yep, we've already spoken with him about that. We were just waiting for him to officially acquire the property.
Well, you guys did great. It was very efficient meeting, so I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can ever help, Dick, Valerie know where I work. But Jeff does too.
Yeah, yeah. And for those watching, this is our county manager, Lynn Sousman, and does a great job for us and really lucky. And for all those looking at YouTube, it's after hours, and he came here to check it out. So it goes to show his dedication to all of us. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day, great night.
Yes, sir. You
Thank
too. Okay, so the last items that we have tonight go into approving findings of fact and conclusion, as well as approving our planning board minutes from our October 9th meeting. That'll be in the short packet that we were given tonight. And so we have two that refer to variances. If you'll remember, we have the variance that was denied from Betty Hamilton due to the facts that are mentioned in there, and then we have the variance that was approved for Walter Crawford Jr. And his was the one where they needed, just a few feet to be able to be in compliance, which we did approve. And so if you would first review the Betty Hamilton findings of fact and conclusion, and then if someone will make a motion to approve that or any changes you see needed.
I make a motion, we approve the findings of fact and conclusion for Betty Hamilton.
We have a motion to approve the findings of fact and conclusion for Betty Hamilton. We have a second.
Second.
We've got a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? All right, they have been approved. Secondly, we've got the Walter Crawford Jr. If you'll do the same there, review it, and if someone will make a motion to approve or mention any adjustments that may be needed.
I make a motion to approve.
We've got a motion. Do we have a second? Got a second? All those, any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise? All right, we've approved both findings of fact and conclusion. And Nick, you've got the signed copy, so that has that taken care of. And the last item tonight will be the minutes from our October 9th meeting. If y'all will review that quickly and offer a motion or any changes needed as well.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Got a motion to approve the minutes from October 9th. Get a second?
Second.
Got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise? Minutes are approved. And the final one is adjournment. If I could get a motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn then. Can I get a second?
Second.
You got a second? Any discussion of anything before we adjourn? All right.
I'd like to say one thing.
Yes, sir.
This is my last board meeting. I've been on here for 12 years, and it's time to go.
Well,
Turn
we
it
sure.
over to some younger people, but I will say, I had to leave early last time, but I did watch y'all perform on YouTube last meeting, and I would have voted the same way you did, so
Thank you.
if I'd have been here. So it's been a pleasure, and as a whole, I was on this board when we only met 2 or 3 times a year.
Mhm.
The only zoning we had was on 52 and 74, with us so many feet. And so, things have really changed for the better, too.
Yes, sir.
And as a whole, you got a good board here, I believe, now.
Well, Don, we really appreciate all the service you've given to our community and laying the foundations for the makeup of the board now and helping through the zoning process and everything that starts to bring Anson County into the 21st century. So we're sure going to miss you, and there's some big shoes to fill for the next appointee. Maybe they'll last 12 years as well. Well, we've got a motion and a second for adjournment. We've had our discussion. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone watching online. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. If you have any questions about planning and zoning, feel free to reach out to us and know that we are here to help when it comes to developing Anson County and starting new businesses and doing all the things that